Naked Shamanism. Welcome to With Insights Radio. I'm your host, Iggy Garcia. I will take you on a journey across the universe through shamanism, metaphysical, and holistic. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. All right, okay, everybody. Here we go. Everybody, I just want to talk to everybody tonight a little bit. Just going to be sharing some thoughts. I can't go to sleep, so just need to sit here and talk a little bit about the things that I've been posting here. Posted some things about memes here recently. Memes are kind of those little taglines and the things that we get in our emails and we get in our news feeds and stuff like that. So we kind of get kind of emotional, and we kind of get triggered by them. Some of them make sense and some of them don't. So I'm going to attempt to just share my thoughts of why I post certain memes and why I post certain things. But before we start, I'm going to light a candle. I'm going to give thanks to all my ancestors. I'm going to give thanks to everybody who came out to the drum circle this afternoon, to the pop-up drum circle. That was a really exciting time. I really enjoyed that. It was something that just happened, very spontaneous. Something happened in my meditation. So I will start by lighting a candle. Light this candle. We give thanks to all those folks who came before us, all those ancestors who laid the groundwork, and just did what they had to do to get us here. Kind of the same message I usually say, but it's important because this is a great opportunity for me to share that feeling and that gratitude and that thanks for that. So this is why I light a candle. Give thanks to my mom and dad, my grandma, my grandpa, and everybody who set the tone and the vibration and the energy that carries forward into this moment in time. For me and my siblings, my family, and especially for me, is I'm part of them. I'm part of that energetic energy that has been passed down from generation to generation, and that energy is sometimes it's been corrupted, it's been damaged, it's been hurt, and people have been feeling a certain way about certain things, and sometimes they're not healed. We're still healing wounds, old wounds that are just kind of there, and people just felt, they just didn't know how to express themselves. And I think that's why I'm posting, and why I'm saying what I'm saying is because old wounds hold us back. Old traumas hold us back, and old things just put us in the right. Right now it's just a very awkward time in our history. And I'm going to continue here as continue the show. I'm going to light here my sage. Light the sage up here and cleanse the space, cleanse the area. Give thanks to Spirit, give thanks to Mother Earth for all that she does and all that Sky Father does for us. And so, and I'm probably going to say something like most of us do. We all post things that we resonate with. And social media has become this platform where if you post something, it's almost become like this rebuttal, this place where people come back and they talk, and some people get really angry at things that people post. And I think people post because it's where they're feeling and where their heart is, and why they, especially memes, and not so much that they're trying to pass misinformation, or it's just what they resonate with. It's their energy. It's what their curiosity brings them. For example, I'm just gonna pull up some memes here. I'm gonna use my phone. For example, this one here. Pets are so weird. Like it's just like these little individuals that live in your house, and you can't speak to each other, but you're all just best friends. So for me that resonates because everybody's got some kind of animal or have had some kind of animal, a pet, a fur baby in their home, and you have this unspoken language, this unspoken dialogue that you go through, and a lot of it, is really, it's kind of funny sometimes, when you have a pet and your pet feels a certain way and reacts a certain way, and sometimes they can't communicate, uh, speaking, the language that we speak, but they speak their own language. They speak their own love language, which is, wagging their tail, cuddling up next to you, showing affection in a way that they only know how to do. They give very unconditional love, but they're also very temperamental. Your pets are temperamental. They either like you or they don't, or they don't like the people who you bring into your world. And sometimes they resonate with them, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes it takes a little time to get used to somebody. So when I post my memes, it's more about for me. It's more for me to feel, and I share it because I just want people to know that that's where I'm at in the moment. That's what I'm thinking. What I'm feeling. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm always that way, but most of the times I am. My other meme, for example, I posted, "Never stop being a good person because of bad people." So many times we get taken down by people who are negative, people who are frustrating to us, people who project upon on their feelings upon us, and and they just spew on us. It's kind of like getting hit by a hose. It's hard to not feel or not get upset or get triggered by that. And what happens is a lot of us aren't prepared and don't know how to deal with that kind of energy when it's thrown upon us. It's easy to say, "Oh, sticks and stone might break my bones, but words will never hurt me." You know, Growing up, words were really, they penetrate my spirit, my soul when I was a kid, and they still do today. I mean, you tell someone that you care about them, and then all of a sudden, uh, things shift and change, and then now you don't care about them. That leaves an impression in someone's mind. That puts something in somebody's head, and the things that come out of our mouth are so powerful. Sometimes we can say some things that are just, we think we're joking and we're playing, and all of a sudden that joke and that misdirected word, in a way, affects something inside of us chemically. And I was taught that words were prayers. That when we speak the things out of our mouth, the universe hears it all. It's not like it's just a word that just word. It means something. When we say something, when we hear something. That's why we're triggered by politicians, by music, by comedy. We're triggered by these things. They affect us. They conjure up something inside of us, inside of our spirit and our heart, and it moves us, chemically changes something inside of us. We can literally heal or get sick just by the words that people will say to us or not say to us. Or being ignored is probably one of the most powerful things in the world. Feeling unappreciated, unwanted. And I know everybody online here who's listening has felt that way one time or another, where we weren't enough, or we weren't given the opportunity to express ourselves. But we're human beings. We have our moments where we don't feel like sharing, and sometimes we don't want to be mushy and lovey-dovey. We just want to be where we're at. And and then some people get really upset about that. There's a lot of folks who get upset when somebody doesn't respond or react a certain way. The thing is, what we don't understand is that everybody's going through their own work. Everybody's going through their own challenges. Everybody's going through their own stories, and everybody's traveling in their own personal bubbles, their journeys. And then you have to match these bubbles and journeys together. They come together, and then we all have to uh, coexist, emotionally, spiritually, physically, you know, and all this stuff. And it can be hard, but there's a time when it does come together. There's a time where it's just amazing. There are certain people who will walk into your life who can move you in ways that other people can't. And, for some people, that's a good thing. And for some, it's not. I can't explain how that works. I don't know how it works. I don't know everything or nothing at all, but the universe presents you people. The universe presents you opportunities. The universe gives you these moments where you have a chance to grasp it or lose it. But I'll tell you, the universe is infinite. So even if you lose one opportunity in that moment, there's another one's going to come up. Your job is to figure out which opportunity is going to be worth your while to grasp onto, which one is going to be the one that is going to love you and honor you and respect you, which one is going to be the one that changes you into another version of yourself. So many of us get caught up in holding on to old energies that don't longer serve us. I'm as guilty as the next person of that. And sometimes we do it out of comfort, we do it out of fear, we do it out of just because that's the only thing we know. And that's the only routine. It's routine. We got into it. There's a fear, we're afraid, or maybe we're just happy where we're at. It really depends. But in order to make changes, if we want changes, let's put that, if we want changes, then we have to step out of the things that make us comfortable, the things that make us feel a certain way. If you complain that your significant other isn't treating you right, well, you have choices to make. You have to make decisions. Is this where I want to be? Is this where I want to project my energy? Is this where I want to, share or not share with somebody? It's really hard to say. I can't speak for anybody in particular, but I know everybody goes through this in life, and there's always these things that come into our lives that will challenge us, and there will be people come into our lives that challenge us. Another version of ourselves that is in a place that we're not, or we're not in the place where they're at, and it looks really weird and very odd, and so we get triggered by that. And so let's see. I'm gonna go to my other meme here that I posted. I posted a lot today. I just felt like posting all these memes. If there's one that you like and you want to talk about it, we can. Okay, here's one. Excuse me. I don't care how long it takes me. I'm going somewhere beautiful. That's a beautiful meme. And it has a road, and the road, is empty, and the trees and the fog is there. Like some of you have mentioned here online, it's a journey. It's not a destination. And so we're going to travel many, many roads in this life. Some of us are granted a short life, some of us granted a long life. Regardless, we're granted life. How we approach life and how we engage in life and what we take from life is really, really up to us to some degree. And then sometimes it's not. There's some circumstances where we're not in control, where there's somebody else who makes a decision and changes our journey, and changes the destination towards our journey and where we're going to go. Somebody leaves you, and they leave you, and then you find yourself having to make changes. You're forced to go into a certain situation where you can't go down the path that you were going before, and these are valuable things that we learn from people who teach us these things. And sometimes the person who makes the decision doesn't know if that was the right decision for them. They don't know if that was, but they're brave enough or just stupid enough, one of the two, depending on how you're looking at it. It it is something that defines us. Every moment in time that we step into, and every decisions that we make totally changes the direction and the manifestation of the creations, the things that we're trying to move into. I'm one of those people who sometimes I don't always make the right choices. And I'm gonna tell you, sometimes I'm the biggest chicken. I'm the biggest chicken, and I'm the one who go try to play it safe. And then you know what? You play safe, and then you're not sure. You regret things, but eventually things change, and you move, and and things level out and you compromise and you move into another energy or you stay in the same energy regardless. The thing is, like, for example, today I did the pop-up drumming, and, and I told everybody that I was gonna take a break from drumming, and I rightfully so, I have. It's been almost 2 months since I've drummed, I believe. I don't even remember the last time I drummed. I haven't even practiced, I haven't even played at home, I haven't. It's just because my mind has not been in the place where it needed to be. So today, I'm meditating out by my tree on the swinging, what is it? Like a hammock, a chair, hammock chair. And, you know, I'm thinking I'm going to meditate. Whatever happens, just do it. And the funny thing was, the birds were crazy today, and the insects were like not necessarily biting, but they were just like more crawly than usual. And so I'm sitting there meditating, closing my eyes, and I can feel these birds like flying right over my head. I mean, they're like right over my head, like, and it was the blue jays, and they were going nuts. I don't know what was going on, don't know what was happening. There's no nest in the tree where I sit, but I could feel them. They were like really louder than usual, especially when you're in your meditation. And then the ants are crawling up my legs, and I'm thinking, man, I have to really focus. I kept telling myself, focus, because when you have an ant crawling up your leg, it tickles, it's annoying, it all at the same time. And man, I had to break my first concentration and shake the ant off because it was it was a valuable lesson how something so small and so little can change how you are reacting or responding. And sometimes that's what happens in life. This little things build up and they build up and they build up, and then boom. And then the birds flying over my head. Sometimes it's like, have you gotten the message yet? Have you listened yet? That's kind of what I've listened. I heard. It's like, come on, man. Don't be an airhead. We're sending you, we've been telling you, you're not listening. And then eventually I did calm down and I relaxed enough. And then I started to see the colors that I usually see in the bright, uh, uh, kind of like a dot that opens up in my third eye. And I could hear the sounds of the drums. I can hear the sounds of the drums, boom, 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 playing through my heart. I could hear that. Drumming, most of drumming is like my passion. It's like something that is very, very, very deep and close to my heart. And my drumming is very unique in its style and the way I do it and the way I present it. And it's one of those things that I contemplated leaving. And I was like, how in the heck am I going to leave that? It's been because of all the situations in life that's been happening to me right now. You know, loss of friends, loss of family, loss of uh, financial income, everything that's played into that. But when I had this meditation today, I was very grateful and very thankful, and I knew that today I would have a message, and that's why I sat there. I sat there very quietly and I listened. And there was no words that said "go drum," but there was a word that says, I heard like pop, like pop. I could hear this pop sound like in my head. And, and then that's where I got the idea for pop-up drumming. I'm like, oh, pop-up drum circle, go out and, minister, because I'm a minister and my drumming is part of my ministry. Minister, minister to the people who show up, drum online, keep the energy and the positivity and the love going. Even though you're going through a lot of things yourself, Iggy, go out there and share your love and your passion for that, because other people want to hear it. Other people want to be part of it. Other people really, really want to engage in that because they need that. And it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. And I'm starting to understand that is even as long as I've drummed, I know that this energy and this love through drumming, even if one person shows up to this pop up, I would have we would drum. If nobody would have showed up, I would have still drummed. It's more about sharing that love with Mother Earth and Sky Father, and sharing that love with myself about who I am and how I see myself. And there was a time where I didn't see myself very important. I didn't see myself like I was valuable. I didn't know how to fit in, kind of like everybody. There was a time where I just felt like I was insignificant. Where how do I make a difference? And I was coming from a place of ego, because I wanted to be seen, I wanted to be heard, versus feeling it, being it, engaging in it. You know, it's kind of like say, if you build it, they will come kind of concept. I have to believe that, and I have to do that because sometimes my humanity pops into me and goes, dude, what are you doing? Why are we, you should be doing this or doing that. But there's a part of me that says, well, my work is also part of who I am. And there's no really true separation from that. I am the drum song. I am the drummer. I am the guy who shows up regardless if nobody else shows up. I drum. I drum to my own drum, my own beat. And not everybody's into it. I know that. But the ones who are into it, the ones who enjoy what we do, because it's a we thing. We do it together. We understand what we're doing. We're celebrating life. We're moving through, the energy, sharing and moving. You know, right now a lot of people are really hurt. A lot of people are really sad. There's a lot of my friends who are talking about committing suicide online. I'm reading here and I'm going, oh my God, what is happening? What's going on? And I'm going, I don't understand what's going on. But I do understand. It's because we're being forced to do things much differently than we ever wanted to. We've been forced to, you know, put ourselves in situations that we're not used to, when we have to isolate from the world and just be with ourselves or the people around us or the family members with us, and be in lockdown. That's very detrimental. And when we lose our incomes, we lose the money that we were making, we lose the businesses that we've created because of the situations at hand. That affects people, you know, that affects people. That's just kind of where we're at. And, people feel that way. A lot of people are really hurting right now. And I know I feel you guys. And I know when I read your posts, and so many people have lost loved ones recently. It's just crazy. And, I want to be there to support those folks, my friends, my family, people I've never met before, if I can. And it's just one of those crazy feelings. You feel like you're not in control of your life, even though you think you are. Oh, I'm in control. I can do, there's some things that you just can't necessarily move, but you can move within that energy. That energy is bigger and stifles us, but within that energy, we can still dance. We can still sing. We can still move. We can still navigate. We can't go to outer space, physically maybe, but we can go to outer space with our minds, our spirit, our soul. We can travel. So many of us, we hold ourselves back because we're afraid more than really we can't do it. Or maybe we're waiting for somebody else to do it. But I'm gonna tell you, you have to be the first person sometimes to step out. You're the first person that needs to step forward so others can step forward. A lot of times, a lot of people don't do things or create things. People have some brilliant ideas, imaginations, and things that roll through their head, things that are in there, things that are powerful, powerful, amazing things. But they they're afraid because we're afraid that we're going to be ridiculed or teased or made fun of. You know what? Those days are gone. We can't live like that. The only thing you can do is do it. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, you just go to the next idea. You move to the next, flavor of ideas. The idea that, well, your one idea is the only idea. No, it's not. There's gazillion ideas. There's a gazillion things, that you could be doing. You know, you're working on your spirituality, working on your physicality, working on your spirit, your soul, your mind, your health, your home. We can work on small little projects and change our lives. So let's go to the other meme. When you follow the crowd, you lose yourself. But when you follow your soul, you will lose the crowd. Eventually, your soul tribe will appear. Don't fear the process of solitude. Okay, so this is kind of what I was talking about just earlier, being in that solitude, being in that quiet. we're all called to be in solitude from time to time. We're all called to be quiet so we can hear and so we can listen. And the solitude could be very powerful, or it can be very difficult to navigate, because being our own advocate, sometimes we find it hard to coach ourselves. We should listen to ourselves and we should believe in ourselves, but in the solitude we hear things and we see things that we didn't see before. And when you go into solitude, what happens is you disappear for a while. You no longer are in the flow of things. You're in a different flow. So the things that you were doing, the people step away, people fall away, or the people step aside, or they just disappear temporarily. And when they disappear temporarily, that doesn't mean that they're gone forever. It just means that they're just in a different place, in a different perception, a different view, in a different, place of mind and state of mind. Being alone is not easy. As much as you think it is, it's not easy. It's not easy. And sometimes being in the crowd is not easy either. Being around a lot of people, being around a lot of energies can be very difficult for some people. And as much as I drum, sometimes it's very difficult to be in a lot of energies. But you learn how to navigate. You learn how to move. You learn how to dance. It's like anything you do in life. You just have to learn to do it and work through it. Because life is funny. Life will move you in the directions you need to move. If you don't move, it will move you. And sometimes it's very uncomfortable. And sometimes it's very, very difficult. And sometimes we get really upset with ourselves because it put us in a place that we didn't want to be, you know? I know that sometimes the poor decisions that I've made have put me in situations where, man, I'm questioning my own personal sanity, and sometimes it's like, man, why'd I do that? That was stupid. But, there was a reason I made that choice in that time, because in that moment, that was the choice I made. And, sometimes the choices that we think that we make were good for us don't necessarily mean they were good. It was just a choice. It was just a decision in that moment. Okay, and my other meme here, and we're talking about memes today. A healer is not someone that you go to for healing. A healer is someone that triggers within you your own ability to heal yourself. Okay, and this is very powerful. This is a very powerful statement, and I agree with this statement, regardless if others do or don't. When we do healing work, and now this was part of the show last week, and I was talking about the healers. We go to work on ourselves so we can find ourselves and get back into flow with ourselves, because we're all healers, every single one of us. There are people who practice the healing, and there are people, okay, who just live life like you and I do. We're all healers, because when we're sick, we heal. Our body automatically goes into healing mode. It doesn't eat, it doesn't really drink, it just does whatever it does. And so when we're healing our traumas and we're healing the different things in our body and the things in our body and our mind goes into a certain place. There are scientific proofs that when you're in traumatic stresses, things happen to you. You either lose a lot of weight or you gain a lot of weight, you know, and so you have to work through all that. Now, personally, I like to eat, but sometimes it's the hidden trauma, the things that I haven't worked on that I hold in my belly. A lot of you see, I got a Peruvian belly. I call my Peruvian Indian belly, my mountain belly. But a lot of us, we hang on to that stuff. We hang on to those things because that's where we store it. When we don't want to see it, we file a cabinet. We just put it in the file cabinet and we file it away. And so when we look to other people, other healers, to help us heal our parts, pieces and parts that are trapped, those people are also working on themselves. Okay. So don't believe and don't think that they're not or haven't been where you are. They are. They're working through their shit as much as you're working through your shit. Okay. And we will be working through our crap until the day we die. There will be things that you will regret. There will be things you'll be grateful. There'll be things that you don't even remember until the day you're laying in your deathbed. You go, wow, that's crazy. But the healer helps others find their healing, because all healing is self-healing. A great teacher, John McMillan, taught me that. All healing is self-healing. All healers heal themselves over time, but you have to navigate the waters in order to get where you want to be. And it's not always easy. It's not always easy. We try to make it easy. We try to make it work. And sometimes we stumble and we fall while we're trying to find ourselves in the stories of life, in the things that we find that keep us locked down. Okay. But I find it interesting that, other healers, sometimes healers need healers. And so the person like myself, I need a healer. I need somebody to work with. I need to reach out. I have to, say, hey, you know what? I need to be listened to from time to time. There's things going on in my life. There's things in my mind that are happening. There's things that I need to work on. There are things that, I'm feeling a certain way. The healers are probably the people that you consider healers in this community. Those people are really needing a lot of attention, a lot of help, and a lot of love, because you know what? They put out a lot of energy. They expend a lot of energy to help others find their path and find their way. I'm not saying I'm going to wave a magic wand and fix you. No, I'm going to wave my wand and help you find that part that you've lost. I'm going to use the abilities that's endowed to me from spirit, from God, Mother Earth, whatever you want to call it, from the universe, and help others find their way, because that's what we do as healers. We help others find their way. And it's not an easy job being a healer, but it's not difficult either. It's not difficult. Finding our way once we get there, it doesn't mean that you can't get lost in the process. And you can get lost in the process, and you should get lost in the process, because that way you can find yourself again. Because, like, remember, there's no destination. It's the journey of life. And recently I've been running into a lot of people who are afraid of death right now. A lot of people have been afraid of dying, and rightfully so. And I can see that. I can understand why. And the biggest thing for a lot of people is they don't know why they feel that way. They're like, Iggy, I don't know why I feel this way. I don't know why I feel like ending my life. I don't know why I feel like I don't want to die. But yet I'm in this paradox of feelings and emotions. And it really makes me really sad, because sometimes I don't know what to say. I mean, as much as I've been doing this work, coaching and working with people, until I know your story and hear why you may feel the way you do because of things that have affected your belief systems in life, I really don't know sometimes what to say. And I'm not here to judge or condemn somebody who feels that that's what they want to do with their life. I can't say that, because number one, I don't know why they're there, and I don't know how we're going to move through it until we actually have a conversation, if they want to have that. But it's been kind of difficult a little bit, just to hear so many people, and then just read so many people posting online how they're feeling right now about where they're at in life and how difficult it is for them. But that's kind of how it is at this moment. Okay, so my next meme. Okay, so we're doing the meme show. Not the mean show, the meme show. I don't even know what meme means. What does meme mean? Someone type on there what it means. Okay, things that can be true at the same time. Okay. Your parents did the best they could, and their choices wounded you. Okay. That's we'll just go down the line of 5. So our parents do the best they can, considering if you have parents, or if you had parents, or considering the person who raised you. The person who raised you, the person who gave you information, the person who passed along knowledge to you, was only proficient in what they're doing because of the person that passed it along to them. The rest of it, they had to learn along the way. So your parents may do certain things that you're not in alignment with. You might not raise your kids the same way. Okay. A wounded person raising a wounded person So we all are wounded. Every single one. There is not one human being on this planet that has some kind of wound or some kind of thing that has triggered them and changed them. Now, there are people who move through their wounds, put band-aids on them, casts, plug it up with, whatever you want to call it, some kind of putty. But we're all walking wounded. We're all walking wounded, either from our children, from our significant other, from our parents, from people who we know. We're all navigating and walking through that and going through that. And sometimes it's not the best situation. Sometimes it's it's difficult. But specifically speaking, parents, sometimes our parents are just other children raising other children. Most people, they say, scientifically, they say that by the age of 8, most people know how to parent themselves, and that's usually where they learn their parenting skills at by 8. And if you think about it, if you're 8 years old parenting yourself, you're not going to do a very good job. You're going to make some stupid mistakes and some idiotic decisions, and sometimes you make some real good ones. But it's wounded teaching the wounded. You learn fear because someone teaches you. You learn happiness because someone showed you. All the things, all the feelings and emotions are yours, how you feel and express the world. But there are certain things in life that are taught. There are certain things in life that are shown that is not shown. In my culture, I'm from Latin America, from Peru. My culture is very different than American culture, but yet it's infused with my culture. I've infused it because I was forced to be infused. I was forced to learn Peruvian culture, you know, with American culture, which was not my culture. It was indoctrinated to me. It was introduced to me by teachers, by friends, by life here, and then have to navigate this world with that world and trying to combine them both, and then try to explain to your parents why you want to do or say or be a certain way, and then they don't get it. You know, in my family, in most Latin families, not all, but a lot of them, the family unit comes first above everything. It doesn't matter good or bad, you defend the family unit. Nobody messes with the family unit, period. It doesn't matter if you're married, it doesn't matter if you have a significant other. The first family is usually the mom and dad, and then everything else falls through. So that can be a very big conundrum for sometimes for someone like myself, having to make decisions and choices, because they really push onto you, honor your mother and father, respect your elders. Nothing that you don't do in this culture, but we just do it differently, you know. Sass and back talking, my gosh, I wouldn't even think of doing that. I'd lose my mouth would get popped open, smacked across the face. But yet I see it. I see it a lot. And it's also happening in my culture too, where a lot of kids, but when I was growing up, you didn't talk back to your mom or your dad. That was like that was like a that was like a death sentence. You were brave if you did that. I must have been brave, but I tell you, you learn very quickly that the dominance, the inner child that they have is conflicted with your inner child. And a lot of the times parents will do stupid things because they weren't allowed to do stupid things. They weren't allowed to do things. They weren't allowed to be themselves. And so they're just passing on knowledge and stuff that they used to do too. So corporal punishment, we spank our kids. Well, because they got spanked. And yes, if we spank them, they will learn. We put them in timeout. Oh, they should learn. But neither one really doesn't really all work. It's all relative on the individual and the person that you're dealing with. Some people you can talk to, some people you can have a conversation with, some people you can say, hey, and then some people just got to spank them on the butt. And that's kind of how my culture is. There was no really, there was really no talk. There was really no, oh, Hito, what's wrong? What's going on? No, it was like, well, a lot of yelling and screaming. And, I was like, it was more, I think they were just afraid that they were going to mess up being parents. That's my biggest thing that I can think of my mom and my dad. God bless their souls. I mean, they did the best they can with the tools that they had and the things that they knew. Okay, going down the list here. You love someone and you know it's not healthy to keep them in your life. Okay, no, that's an odd one. You love somebody, but you keep them. Let me read it again. You love someone and you know it's not healthy to keep them in your life. Okay. Well, love has many levels. In English language, we only have really one word for love, but we have inflections that we address to love and how we feel about somebody. In the Greek language, they have multiple things for different types of love and what it means to love. But in English culture, love is love. Oh, I love you. Oh, I love that. There's different ways to express love through the inflections of the words. Now, you can love people. You can be in love with someone and not be in love with them and be with them at the same time and not even feel the emotion of that. And sometimes that's just fear that plays out. It's fear. We don't know how to say goodbye. We don't know what we're going to miss. We don't want to make a mistake. But, just because someone is in your life and they've done so much for you, it doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that your love has shifted, it's changed, and it's moved out. And that's kind of how I'm interpreting that. You love someone and it's not healthy, but keeps you in your life. It's kind of like, for example, a good example. There are a lot of people who love each other, but they're just not compatible. They love certain aspects of themselves. For example, people who are getting divorced and they have kids. The only reason they stay with them because they want to stay with the kids. They love the kids and they want to keep the family together. Another example, my family was the same way. The best thing that could happen to my parents is they should have gotten divorced, but they didn't because of culture, because of belief, and because of religion. And it's just something you didn't do. It was like, you put up with the crap and you just deal with it, but you don't divorce. That's kind of that thing. So moving on from that topic. Okay, let's see. You're terrified to take the next step and it's the right thing to do. A lot of these things come from fear. There's things that you want to do, but you won't do it because you're afraid. You're afraid of the unknown. This is basically what it is you're afraid of the unknown. You're afraid of things that you don't have control of because there's nothing to control. The only thing that you can do is navigate it and go through. It's kind of like going sailing a ship. You have a course, but you don't know when the storm's going to come. You don't know if a whale's going to hit your ship. You don't know if you're going to hit an iceberg. It's just life, and it goes. And sometimes we get terrified because you know what? We're comfortable. We're in our little cocoons. We're in our little spaces, and we're safe there. And sometimes we sit there and we fester in there, and we would rather fester, and we would rather be angry and frustrated and stay in this little bubble versus to go into the place that we want to that will make us happy. But sometimes when we get to the place that we thought made us happy, this doesn't make us really happy. It's no different than the place you were before, except the scenarios and the situations and the people in it. But life is really up to you how you're going to navigate it, how you want to move through it and swim through it. Because the only thing you can control is the yeses, the nos, and the maybes, and the decisions that you make. Because there are other people making the same decisions for themselves, and they're making them because they think they should. And they probably will because they don't have any other choice, because they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. They don't see any movement. They don't see anything that gets better for them. Okay, let's move down the line here. You want to have a healthy relationship, and and unresolved trauma is making it difficult. Okay, there's times where you want to work things out with people. There's times where you want to move through it, but you get hung up on past stuff. I'm guilty as the next person. You get stuck on the things that made you angry versus how you're going to move this relationship forward. Well, a lot of times you don't move forward is because a part of you doesn't want to move forward. Part of you wants it to die slow death. And there's a part of you that's you're not willing to kill it right away because you're not sure you're going to make the right mistakes or the wrong mistake, for it. But the traumas, they're real. When you screw up a relationship, those people never forget. Those people never forget the trauma. I've created a lot of trauma and a lot of things in my relationship that doesn't help the situation. And part of me plays out because I know that I did that, because I know that I'm not forgiven for that. And I know that I've not been, true to myself or true to your significant other. And so you live kind of like this weird energy between you, where you not really ever resolved it because you don't know how to resolve it. You don't know, regardless if you've had help, regardless of what you want. It's just like a bad memory. You keep it, you hang on to it, and then you don't know how to move from it because the trauma sometimes holds us together versus separating us. Sometimes people are stuck together because of the trauma, because it's something that it's unique between those two. And that's the thing that keeps them going. It's not necessarily always very healthy, but it happens a lot more than you think. Okay, let's see. You're afraid to fail and you believe in yourself. Okay. You can believe in yourself and you can be afraid to fail at the same time. My God, I think a lot of people do that. They fail, but yet they still believe in themselves. It's kind of the paradox again. It's kind of one of those things, the oxymoron type. You know, God, how many times I've failed and fallen on my ass, but still I keep going because there's a part of me that believes in me, even though there's a bigger part that doesn't. There's a bigger part that goes, oh man, what are we doing? In the end, you'll have to make decisions. You'll have to make choices. And they're not always comfortable. They're not always comfortable. And so we moved out of those 5. So these memes, so we're talking about memes and why people post memes, and some people agree with them and some people don't, and regardless, I post them for me so I can read them and look at them and go, man, and ask questions of me. I'm not really asking people to say, hey, tell me this, I don't agree with that. I mean, that's just your belief and that's where you resonate. And I respect that and honor that. You don't have to agree with everything that I post. You don't have to agree with everything that you read and what people post. A lot of people post because they need to see it. They need to navigate it and work through it. So if you start to think of things like that, if you start to look at it like that, when someone posts something, maybe it's something they need to understand versus you need to understand. There are people who will post things because they want people to feel it, or they want, oh, it's this way or that way, but it's not always that way. So my next meme here, I was I was toxic to some. I was a blessing to others. Others healed, others I hurt, and I'm willing to admit that I wasn't always right. Okay. There's nobody on this planet who hasn't hurt somebody. Okay. And there's nobody on this planet who wasn't a blessing. We've all been blessings and we've all been that toxic person in some way or another. Oh no, Iggy, I've never been toxic. Listen, toxicity is different to everybody. Okay. Toxic, just being aloof is a toxic form of being, or ignoring somebody is a toxic, or not, or trying to be the goody good two shoe could be toxic to some people. Toxicity doesn't mean what you think it is. You just try to do the right things. You try to be right with yourself. See, here's the thing. If we're right and we admit that we are at fault for things that we do, things get a lot easier. I'm not saying admit if you don't feel it's right, but I'll tell you, I take 100% responsibility for the things that I screw up. I'll be the first one to tell you, hey, you know what? I screwed up. Fuck that up. Why dance in the lava to try to prove your point when you know you screwed up? I've been toxic more than once. Just because you see me here online doesn't mean I don't have feelings and emotions. I have moments of breakdowns and frustration, but I also have these moments of blessings too, where, I've I've been in the right place at the right time, and spirit has led me to the right things. And, I've hurt people and I'm very sorry for hurting them. And that was never my intention to hurt them. But some people will never get past the hurts and the feelings and the emotions that they went through because it's too painful for them, because it brings up and conjures up memories of other people hurting them. So the one that's fresh is always going to be the most strongest. Now, I know that sometimes I'm very abrasive. I come across strong. I would come across, kind of, you know, difficult, but that's just my personality. I'm just that way. I'm a Sag, I burn hot, I'm a muted sign, but I forget easy. Here's the thing. Here's one thing that I think bothers some people who are close to me. Get in an argument, a fight, most people hang on to that. And they don't let go of that. And other people like myself, fight's over, hour later, 2 hours, I'm over. I'm like, hey, it's over. But I'm just as guilty as the next person to hold on to those grudges very long. Keep that stuff brewing, keep that stuff going. It's because we're humans. We do stupid stuff, but we also do great things. That's just part of the dance. That's the human dance. That's the human, evolution. That's what we do as human beings. All right. The next meme I have is our prime purpose in life is to help others. And if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. Okay. So my memes all kind of go hand in hand. So our purpose is to help. Our purpose is to do the right thing for people. And so sometimes we think we're doing the right thing, and then sometimes we end up hurting people. Thinking because if we step in, if we help, intercede, sometimes that's not the right situation. In particular, in this situation, when I'm reading this meme is, we're known to hurt people because we hurt ourselves. We're very critical of ourselves. But sometimes we can take that criticism and turn it and twist it and make it better. And we can help other people because we have a sense of compassion of what it feels like to feel that way. So we have a basis and a foundation and go, I know how you feel. I get what you're saying. I've been where you are. And I hear people say that all the time. But you're not where you've been all the time because you know what? You're not that person. You cannot feel what the other person feels because their situation is completely different. It resembles and looks like your situation, but it's not the same. It is not the same. That's why you have to listen to what somebody's telling you, the story they're sharing with you, so you can echo back to them what you heard versus what you want to share with them versus what you want to, spew out of your mouth to up them and not even knowing you're doing it. And so, but that takes a lot of work and takes a lot of training. It takes a lot of healing of your part to sit there and listen to what someone's telling you. Hey, this happened to me. I got beat up. Oh, I got beat up once too. The guy's like, well, I got beat up just now. Oh, I got beat up a long time ago. Yeah, I know how you feel. No, listen to what someone's saying. Hey, I got beat up. What happened, man? Tell me if you want, share. If you don't want to share, no problem. Never force somebody to share something they don't want to share. It's like asking somebody who's had a family member die, and you go, "Oh, what'd they die of?" You're more out of curiosity. We want to know because our mortality plays into it, and so I try and just be respectful, like most people. You just ask certain questions. So that's basically it, for the memes that I put here. And this one got a lot of attention in a weird way. So this one said, the only toxic relationship I ever had in this is the one I had with myself. Everyone else was just a reflection of that. Oh man. So many people, not everybody, but some people got triggered by that. Some people got really triggered by that. Reflections are very powerful. We call them mirrors, reflection, observations. Usually, when a relationship goes a weird way, it's because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You may think you're doing what you're supposed to do. You think that you're in the right frame of mind. You think that you're doing all the right things. But most relationships kind of end in a weird way because the person who isn't ready to move on will do all the things to sabotage it. They will do all the things because they don't want to hurt the other person. They just want it to be just kind of be hard and done with. So most people know how to fix their relationships. Most people, not everybody, but most people do. They know what they have to do in order for that relationship to flourish. But are they willing to do that? Are they willing to do the work? Are they willing to go into that space? Are they willing to apologize? Are they willing to see themselves as part of the problem or the perceived problem? Now, I'll tell you, I don't always do it right. And there's times where, I know I can make things better and more comfortable, but there's a part of me I'm just an ass. And I don't want to bend, and I don't want to be wrong, and I don't want to be told what to do. I'm just like a defiant child sometimes. And, those things kill relationships. Those things are the things that, ignoring somebody, you know, or you being ignored by somebody also causes that. The biggest thing is when you ignore somebody is probably the biggest detriment to a relationship. And, the thing is, people who have been in a relationship for a long time don't even know they're doing it. They just assume that that's just the way it is and it's always been that way. And, it's not. And I'll be the first person to tell you, I've been the most toxic person in my relationship. I've been the person who who sometimes knows they should do certain thing a certain way, but doesn't do it because just doesn't want to. Because there's spite, there's anger, there's frustration, there's things for me to work on about myself. I don't always get it right. I tell you, I get it wrong more than I get it right sometimes. And I'll be the first person to admit it here online. Okay, so my other one is stop playing out painful scenarios in your mind that don't even exist in the present moment. Wow, that one is a very powerful statement. Our mind can create so many scenarios and so many things that don't exist. Oh my God. You can make something into something. You can make something real that's not even real, but it becomes so real in your mind. It becomes so ingrained and becomes so powerful that you just create a world in your head that doesn't necessarily exist, but it does exist because it's in your head. And regardless if it's in your head or not, you've created that scenario, you've created that reality. For you, it's real because chemically you have created all the things that make you feel that emotion and put you into that state of mind. It doesn't matter what the other person says. It doesn't matter what they feel, but being in the present moment is very difficult for a lot of people because a lot of people like to go back on their default. Their default is, well, that happened to me. I don't trust anybody because of that. I don't trust that person because of this. Or my God, this is what happened. Our defaults are our memories, our filing cabinet that we conjure up, we go through in the present moment. To be present doesn't mean to be present just means to be still and to be you and to express yourself in that moment. But it's hard, and it's not always easy, but there's times where it's just very magical, very powerful. And we create a lot of stuff that is not real, guys. I'm just as guilty as the next person. I create stuff that I'm like, where did that come from? Create these feelings, emotions, I hear a song and I get mad, I get angry, blah blah blah. It's because as humans, that's what we do, you know? So so the rest of the memes are pretty much the same. They kind of say similar things. Our suffering creates, our alchemy is our healing. So I hope that you were able to hear what I'm trying to say. That the work, we're always going to have to do the work. We're always going to have to do the things that we need to do because that's just kind of what to be human is to feel, is to feel all that stuff that we feel inside of us. Is because in our head, we paint a picture of what reality looks like to us or it feels like to us. And the person who's across from you from the table is doing the same thing. And sometimes that reality that they paint is not the same. It doesn't look the same, doesn't even match, doesn't even come close. But yet you still navigate together, you still work together. There comes a breaking point where the two just it's like lock and key. It won't fit. The key won't fit in the lock. It won't turn the tumblers inside. So we have to really focus on ourselves and what we're doing. This is a life journey. You will constantly be working on yourself. But if you can find that common ground, you can work on yourself and move through the energy quickly and fast. And you can move through the energy where it puts you in a great state of mind faster than it was instead of holding on to and harboring it, then we can move through it. Just like the state of affairs right now. A lot of us hold on to this anger about things and it puts us in a frame of mind where we don't think clearly. We're not thinking, we're cutting people off. We're abandoning relationships, friendships, because we think that we have to be part of this team or that team, and it's not true. We can find common ground if we look for it, if we listen to each other, if we open up our spirit, our heart, and our soul. But until we do that, that won't happen. That won't happen. Your biggest challenge will be you, period. You will be your biggest challenge. Not your significant other, not your mom, not your dad, not your brother and sister, because they have their own challenges too. They have their own stuff that they have to work through. And sometimes they project onto you the feelings and emotions that are feeling inside themselves, about you. But sometimes we come across with an arrogant whiff of smell because we know that. Oh, you're just a dick, No, I know where you're going with this. I know what you're going to do. I know how you're going to feel about me. And I can't change how you feel about me. I can't change. I can only change my behavior that's conducive for me. And hopefully you see it differently the next time we meet. But it's so difficult because we're all humans, and we're all working to do the best we can in this short moment in times. We're not on this earth very long. Remember, those of you who believe in reincarnation, that's great. But I'm going to tell you, in this incarnation only lasts once. I'm only Iggy Garcia once in this incarnation. Okay? I'm not Iggy Garcia in the next incarnation. I'm a completely different person. I'm a completely different energy. I still carry the memories and the feelings and the emotions of that person. I come back. But Iggy Garcia is only one time, Everybody who's here is only one time. If you believe in reincarnation, you come back. Yes, you come back. But you come back as a different human being. You come back with similar traits and energies. You come back with things that are very familiar because those things travel with you. They don't die. But you are only this person here right now. You're very unique. You're very special. You're very powerful. Okay. But you're also very defiant. You're very angry. You're very frustrated. You're all the emotions that run through our body because of the inputs of our brain and how we perceive information. So when you read someone's memes, don't take it personal. Don't get frustrated. They're not really talking about you. They're not really saying it to you. They're just looking at it so they can reflect back. And then the only thing they may want is how you project upon the meme and upon the emotion that you may be feeling. So memes, yeah, people love them or hate them. I mean, I know how that is. You either love them or you hate them, and you move on. But that's basically it today, guys. I hope that you got something out of this podcast today, and you were able to feel or express or share or understand where I'm coming from. You want more information about me, go to iggygarcia.com, IGGYGARCIA.com. You can reach me there. You can see all the things I do and all the drummings and way to contact me, one-on-one sessions. I'm available there. So that's where you can find me. Either way, guys, I want to just say thank you for this moment in time. I want to say peace and love, ho'oponopono, matakuyasin, ivisikwi. It's good to be here. It's good to be here. I like that. And we will see you next time here on Iggy Garcia Live. And we will see each other soon. And I'll see you at the next pop-up, next drum circle. And enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your night. Be safe. Be well. Follow the golden rule. Do unto others as you would done unto you. And we will see each other soon. Peace out, guys. Take care.